Excellent. So we are now official. And so welcome to all of you who are in the room. And I expect that we will have some people. This will be going out after the fact to those who have registered for it and maybe couldn't make it. I have at least one or two people who registered from Australian time zones, and I want to say a Singapore or someplace in that part of the world. Um, so it's middle of the night for them. And while people might stay up to watch World Cup at that time of middle of the night morning, I cannot yet quite imagine why people wouldn't have that same kind of dedication to come and meet Sarah Westcott in the middle of the night like that. But aspirations, hashtag goals. So for those of you who maybe haven't met me, although those of you in the room, I think all have, I am Sarah Westcott, and we are going to spend the next 45 minutes to an hour today talking about referral magic and what does it mean to actually build an intentional, strategic referrals ecosystem, referral partner ecosystem without begging, bragging, or burning out. And I want this to be interactive today. Those of you who know me in real life uh, know that I do like to hear myself talk. Yes, Lisa, you can nod your head
No.
knowing me. Chris, no, never. You would never. That said, I want this to be interactive, and I really do want this to be a little bit more hot seat. Let's talk about the four reasons why we may not be getting all the referrals we deserve, but let's actually talk about our own businesses right now, and let's assess where we may fall in all of this. Business building by referral is the program, the methodology that I have created to to help business professionals, entrepreneurs really break through that best kept secret barrier to build intentional relationships um, without the awkwardness, without the icky sales factor. Um, and there's some stages to that. What I have done for today, though, before I forget, is I'm going to actually go ahead and hit share screen because, as one of my dear people have reminded me, not everybody is auditory learner. And so I went ahead and just created some, um, let's see, let me see. I pinned myself. Maybe I need to unpin myself, remove pin so that nope, guess not. I guess I need to pin me anyway. And maybe you all can still see each other. I cannot, which makes me very sad. Um, oh, but now
You
I've
need to
done it.
put the images in gallery view
Oh,
so
there
we
we
can
are.
see
Thank you
everybody.
so much. It's been a minute. All right, so I've got us in the gallery view, and hopefully the recording will see all of this as well, and y'all can see each other and me, and that makes me very happy. Um, all right. So, for those of you who have not yet met me, you're already getting that little bit of a taste. I am Sarah Westcott. I have been a business coach, primarily a financial coach, money coach, for the last 20 years or so. So I am known as a personal CFO, money coach. Some of my clients call me the money whisperer, sometimes the spouse whisperer, usually with good humor in all of that. I'm also a homeschool educator. But what I'm most excited about, and what we're here to talk about today, is the fact that over the years of building my practice as a money coach, I backed myself into some expertise as a business referral strategy coach because there I was, the quietest, scared to death introvert that knew I had a business and I had this, I fell into that myth. Some of you may too, of if you build it, they will come. And that's great in the movie script. Thank you, Kevin Costner. Not so great when it comes to I've got a business. Nobody knows I'm here. I'm the best kept secret out there, and I'm not able to feed my family because nobody knows how to refer me. And so I developed over time some skills in actually teaching people how to refer and teaching other people how to build referral relationships for themselves. So I am now, yes, a business referral strategy coach, the creator of Business Building by Referral. And just because you want to know all the things, I am an absolutely crazy, fanatical tea drinker. So you will always see me with my tea mug of some kind. I do not have my favorite mug with me today, which says, nope, it's too peoply outside, because I am also a card carrying introvert. I do. I mean, I like people. Don't get me wrong. I like people, but peopling is a verb, and it is exhausting. And yet somehow I backed into building a business around building relationships anyway. So even those of us who are introverts and can pretend to be extroverts, or at least outgoing introverts, can build businesses, through referrals, through relationships. And I am, yes, slightly obsessed with helping good humans become the person that people love to recommend. So that's where we're going today. And we're going to start with talking about those of you in the room, feel free to jump in. What generally feels like the biggest challenge for you right now when it comes to building good, strong referral relationships? Lay it out there. What do you think about? What's the challenge? Give me some ideas. And we're going to jump into what I call the 4 reasons.
Having the
Me, I think
time.
it's consistency.
Mhm.
Tell me more.
So I meet somebody and
Mhm.
then I want to stay in touch, and like my financial advisor, I try and meet once a year. It should be more,
Yes.
because how are they going to keep me in mind if I'm only checking in once a year and stopping in to seeing how they're doing? So it's that consistent building that relationship.
Excellent. Okay. So it's staying top of mind. It's that challenge of staying top of mind and making sure that they remember you when they come across somebody for you. Okay, great. What else? What other challenges do you experience?
I'm going along with her thought process. It's my time,
Mhm.
right? I only have a limited amount of time. How can I maximize that with with the right types of relationships and not just shotgun or and when I do want to follow up so that they don't forget me, it's with intentionality and not just touching for touch's sake, right?
Yep. Yep.
I'd
So
agree with that.
okay, go ahead, Wes. Jump on in.
So spending the time identifying the people that in theory would be working with my ideal client, that would come in contact with them, but having them, what you do resonates with them, they love it. However, getting them to actually, for lack of a better word, identify or flag an introduction,
Mm-hmm.
and
Okay.
it that warm, fuzzy, this is a great connection. I love what you do, blah, blah, blah. And all of a sudden it just phases out. Even though you're reaching out, trying to keep the consistency going, trying to keep the connection going, it just, like a gas barbecue that runs out of propane, it just poof.
Mhm. Yes. And like it's wow. It's like they're so excited in the beginning and then nothing ever happens. Why the heck
Right?
not?
Like
Mhm.
you need to teach this. This has got to be
Mhm.
done. You blah, blah,
Mhm.
blah, 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 blah. And then all of a sudden, hello.
Right. Crickets. Mhm. Uh-huh. Good. What else? What else? We're gonna talk about all these things. You don't have to, but Don or Chris, anything that comes to mind. Yeah.
Well, with me, it's what I do is a rather broad spectrum, as you and I have discussed many times, and often just getting referral partners to even get their wits around what to say or how to say it
Yeah.
is probably the biggest challenge, because it's not just one simple thing.
Right. Right. Okay. Yep. So it's the clarity piece of that, perhaps. Okay. I'm postulating. Okay, Dawn, jump on in.
Yeah, so all of that, everything
Mhm.
we've already discussed, and really, having people buy into the whole idea of, yeah, you can do this. Running a online yoga studio is it's kind of a unique process, a unique business. Words are not coming easily today. So it's really, not only connecting with the right people, but um, having them be excited to remember to tell people, hey, this exists. You know, somebody, they start talking and they've got somebody whose doctors told them that they need to move because they need the mobility or they need the strength. And to remember that there's this online chair yoga teacher who makes yoga incredibly accessible.
Love that. Yes. Okay. So Sarah's brain is already going to those of you who know my process a little bit. Dawn had a couple of triggers right there. My doctor told me I needed to start moving and that, but I can't do high impact. And that should now immediately stick in my brain as a trigger that when I hear someone who says, my doctor told me I need to get more movement in, but it hurts and I don't want to move, I should immediately think, oh my gosh, you need to meet Dawn because she does chair yoga and she does it online. So it doesn't matter where you are. That would be a great introduction. She's great at that. So help it. So you just gave me a perfect example that I need to now drill into my brain as a trigger. We call those triggers, by the way. And part of what we need to do, as we're going to jump on in here, is the whole premise of today and referral strategy is that our goal is to be intentional in it's our job to equip others in how to refer us, not their job to remember and to just magically get it. That's the whole magic one. I opened my business now and I told people what I do, and now I'm magically expecting the referrals to come in. It doesn't work like that. So there's some real work that we're going to do here today, and that's part of that process. Dawn, is how am I connecting the dots? How am I helping people connect the dots? So let's then jump on in and let's play with some of those. Here we go. So the number one reason that we generally start with why we may not be getting all the referrals we deserve is what I call the credibility factor. And we start here because it doesn't matter what else is going on, how great you are at what you do, if we haven't earned the right to be referred. And how many of you have ever gone to some kind of public group networking event, a chamber, an after hours of some kind, and gotten cornered by somebody who rather aggressively wants to sell you their stuff? Okay, Dawn, you've got your hand up there, and Wes, I have too. And I don't know about the rest of y'all. Whoops, do I have anybody in the waiting room? Sorry. Oops, nope. Okay, sorry. I saw something going on. I don't know about the rest of y'all, but for me, I do not go to those events looking to buy something. None of you, I mean, as much as I'd love you to buy something from me, none of you necessarily come here today looking to buy something. You've got a challenge maybe you want to solve. You want to find out some more information, but you're not going to the chamber event to buy new windows or Ginsu knives or anything. So why would we expect other people to immediately be ready for us to sell to them either? We have to earn the right to be referred. And so the first question we think about is, are we rushing the relationships? Have we immediately met someone and expect them to open up their black book of introductions? Even if we're not selling to them immediately. Oh my gosh, I just met you, Chris, and I expect you. Would you please introduce me to the CEOs of your, of your client, the clients that you work with that are CEOs? Now, if you've just met me, you don't know me yet from Adam. You don't know that, if I'm going to be good for my word, if I'm going to carry through it. And if I mess up and make you look bad, if I mess up, not only am I disappointing the client, but I make you look bad because you introduced me. I use the example of my mother all the time. There are very few people that I'm going to refer right off the bat to my mother, because if you do something and you don't show up, or you don't provide the service that you said you were going to provide, I'm going to hear about it. I'm going to hear about it every Sunday dinner and Thanksgivings, and on a Tuesday afternoon, she's going to hold that for the rest of the time. The history of ever. So it's the same, right? Yeah, some of you have complicated relationships like that too, right? Tell me it's not just me. So where we need to start is think about building our referral relationships just like we would any other relationship. The word is in the term. It is a relationship. And some of them go faster than others. but we always have to know that we have to earn that right first. And there's two ways of earning credibility. Number one is our professional credibility. Do they actually know and trust what we do? And we can demonstrate that by if they've worked with us, or if we've got good testimonials from other people, or they may send us a tire kicker client, what's the term? Not a lead balloon, but something just to test me out. They'll give me a low risk referral to test me out. And how I do on that is going to either increase my credibility, their trust in me, or it's going to decrease. So yes, I'm definitely going to want to return, I'm going to want to return the call and reach out to that referral promptly. I'm going to want to say thank you to the referral source, so that I'm creating goodwill along the way. Even if it's not a good referral, let's say, Lisa, you send me a referral that is less than ideal. You send me someone who's about, let's say, for my money coaching, you send me someone who's about to go through bankruptcy, or who's living on food stamps. That may not be my ideal client. How I handle that referral still affects my personal credibility and my professional credibility. Lisa, thank you so much for thinking of me. That's really awesome. That's not necessarily my ideal client, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure I pass them along to so-and-so who does actually, I'm going to help them in some other way that doesn't necessarily mean me working with them, or maybe I do, but I'm going to take good care, and I'm going to let Lisa have the confidence to know that I've handled her referral well in a way that makes her connection with that person feel good. And so when we talk about credibility, there are those two pieces. It's a personal credibility. Am I good for my word? Am I doing what I say I'm going to do? And it's the professional credibility. Do I trust that you know what you're talking about? Do I trust that you're good at what you do? Both those things have to fall into place over time in order to qualify that. In my world, we call that the VCP process. Visibility, because they have to know who you are first, right? Plus credibility, personal and professional, over time should turn into profitability. But it's a relationship that takes time. This is a long end game, not quick fix, generally speaking. But this is where I start, because here's the challenge today for credibility number one. Do you actually know where you stand with the people in your circle of influence, your family, your friends, your professional colleagues? Do you know where you stand when it comes to being ripe? An automatic default, what I would say a hell yes, excuse my language, but are you a hell yes? If somebody came across your ideal client, would they automatically, without thinking about it, say, oh my gosh, of course you need to meet Dawn? Of course. And sometimes this is the hardest part for us because we have blind spots. And so the challenge for this particular aspect is going back to the people in our world, our family, our friends, our colleagues, the people in our circle of influence, and really giving them permission to give us feedback and maybe point out some areas if we need to improve. I had a referral partner a couple of years ago who, and maybe some of you will like this, oh my gosh, people say all the time that they love what I do and they got people for me and they never actually carry through. Wes, you and I were just talking about this, right? And the question is, I had a referral partner a couple of years ago. She was complaining about everybody else and they were just schmucks and they were just not good referral partners and it was all their fault. But never stopped long enough to really self-reflect and go back and ask, is there any reason that these people aren't referring me right now? And so how I would position this and for all y'all as a credibility test, I will generally go back periodically to the people in my world and say, I'm looking to really make sure that I'm bringing the best possible experience to my potential clients, my referral partners, and the people in my world. And I'm looking to make sure I'm leveling up and that I'm bringing the best quality of experience. Is there any reason that you wouldn't feel comfortable referring me if you had the opportunity to do so? And Chris, you and I had lunch a week or two back, and I didn't necessarily ask you this directly, But that's kind of the subtext to the conversation to make sure that if there's any reason that you don't feel comfortable referring me, I'd want to know.
Right.
And maybe that's something as specific as, Sarah, you've got really bad breath, and somebody needs to tell you that you've got bad breath. And I will invite that kind of, feedback. You won't hurt my feelings. I'd rather know than not know. And it's interesting what comes up. Have any of you ever tried this or had an experience with this or have a sense of questioning where do you stand with your current circle of influence? Wes. Oh, were you going to say something or just acknowledge?
Yeah, so I've thrown that out there. I've brought that up with different referral partners.
And
it's interesting is I've had some avoid the question and some not really answer it.
Okay. Love that.
So when I try and dig a little bit, which in my opinion allows me to show the coaching side a bit more. It's interesting to get, ultimately they don't know how to introduce me.
Okay.
Because as a money coach, money is a sensitive topic in most families. So they don't know how to bring it up ultimately is
I love that.
Yeah.
Okay. Don, were you going to add something in there? Because I'm going to come back to Wes's point here, but I want you to have a chance too, if you were going to say something.
No, but no.
Okay. You may.
I may,
totally
but
fine.
we're
okay.
good.
Okay. So Wes, I think to your point, you still learned something really valuable, which was, no, you didn't get any negative feedback of, again, the idea being, I'm going to be really blunt. If there's something I would rather know than not know, even if, Sarah, you've got bad breath, and so giving them permission to really be honest matters. But Wes, it sounds like in your case, it's not a credibility issue. So we can check that box off. And that in and of itself is a really great thing, because we can't move anywhere farther until we've assured that they actually would be willing to refer you if the opportunity to do so rose up. I can remember years ago, I had a woman who wanted to be a referral partner with me, and she was doing kind of an independent day trading type of thing. And I was really not very comfortable with it and didn't necessarily feel that matched with my practice and the kinds of clients that I wanted to recommend. And she chased me quite a bit to want to build a referral partnership. And it back in the day, I didn't have the language to be able to say, I'm so sorry, I just don't think this is a good fit. I don't think we're a good referral partner fit. I don't think my clients and you would be a good fit for what you do. I've learned how to say that since. But she would have saved herself a lot of time and energy if she could have been able to come to me and say, Sarah, is there any reason why you wouldn't feel comfortable referring me? And let's have that conversation. So, again, if there was something standing in the way of me referring you, would you want to know about it? That's another way to do it. If you feel like there's someone who needs that. Wes, yeah.
I have a question. So I was having a conversation with somebody about a week ago, and they said, who would you like to be introduced to? And I said, mortgage brokers, for example. And they brought up a particular name. They said, do you know this person, blank? And I said, I do, and I don't consider them an ideal referral partner. And they said, well, why is that? And I explained why based on conversations I'd had with that person that didn't align with me helping people basically get out of debt. Okay. And they looked at me and they paused and they didn't say another word.
Okay.
Was that a crossing of the line or?
I think maybe your gut is right. I think probably my instinct is we don't want to shut down the opportunity for referral partners to want to refer us. Yes, I do. Thank you so much. That's not particularly a relationship that has, I probably would find another way and practice what that would be.
Okay.
That's not a particularly ideal referral relationship because their approach doesn't necessarily match the approach that is best for my clients. Something a little bit more generic, but not quite as specific.
Okay.
But then I circle back and say, but thank you so much. In general, that would be someone like that or someone in this role would be great. So thank you so much for thinking of that. I think the other way is to redirect. Well, maybe that type of role isn't quite right, but this one is. I shared with some of the group this past week that I was talking about what I did, and what the person heard was very different than what I'd said. And she's like, "Oh, my teenage son could use that." And I didn't want to discourage the goodwill that implied by saying, "No, I really that's a terrible client for me." So what I did say was yes, and there are some great resources that I have for teens and young adults, but who really would be a better client for me would be the doctors in this hospital. She's a nurse, not the kids. And it's that redirect piece that I think when you know what you're looking for and know how to say thank you for the attempts while not dismissing or making them feel bad for not understanding. It's a great point. All right, but that does go to part number 2, question number 2, reason number 2 that we may not be getting all the referrals that we deserve is more often than not what we call the confusion factor. People can't refer what they don't understand, even if we've told them before. And all of us, I'm going to guess, have experienced, wait, what do you do again? And the frustration of, I've told them 25 bazillion times what I do, and they still get it wrong, or they still don't understand. And we have to regulate our frustration sometimes, because the truth is, people think about us a lot and talk about us a lot less than we think they do. Like, I can remember being a teenager in high school and I thought everybody was talking about me behind my back. And the truth is most people didn't even know I existed. And thank you for laughing. But that summarizes 40 years ago of, teenage trauma right there. People don't think about us and talk about us nearly as much as we think they do. They don't retain nearly as much as we think they do. So we can tell them over and over what we do, and it still may not be up here in the brain. So the questions to consider here. So a lot of times when we say, is there any reason why you wouldn't feel comfortable referring us if you had the opportunity to do so? Wes, to your point, was not any reason why they wouldn't want to. Wes, we love you. We think you are awesome. We believe that what you do and provide is really, really valuable. You help people do this. And, we've seen the example of you changing lives because of your money coaching. Like, they've got great things to say, but they don't know how to refer you. I just don't know anyone who needs what you do. Is some variation of that. I'm seeing some nodding of heads here. Yes. And, or what else? I mean, if there's some other variation of that, what do you think? What do people usually say to you when you ask them about, referring you? Nope. Okay, so go on there. Okay, that's fine. I'm just giving you the chance. Jump in, Dawn. Yeah.
Yeah. So, a lot of this resonates with me because I mean, and this because you've kind of been with me on this journey for a few years. People really don't understand what I do. And it's like, oh yeah, I mean, people, and when I do say yoga, I mean, how many of you already have a preconceived vision of what yoga is? And what I do is probably not what you're thinking, because I'm the exact opposite of what you see on social media and what you see on YouTube and out in the world, because for me, it's more about adaptability. So for me, it's really getting people to understand, hey, you don't need to spend 90 minutes in a hot yoga studio doing yoga to get the benefits. So it's been developing and fine tuning that for me, for sure.
And it's the education factor. The opposite of confusion is clarity, and that comes through education or information / education / something else, right? And that's exactly it. Thank you, Dawn, so much. Even when we've told them, so are we assuming that they understand more than they do, that they have the same assumptions in their head that we have when we're talking about it? For years I talked about being a money coach, and of course, what do people think? Those of you who are money coaches, they think advisor, they think selling insurance, they think day trading, they think debt management and bankruptcy, all kinds of assumptions that go into that. And it's our job to help people connect the dots and truly get it. And so where we want to go in when this becomes the issue, that people just don't know either how to recognize our clients or how to introduce us when they walk in front of them, is an education process. In my practice, we use something, and some of you are familiar with something called a trigger document or a trigger worksheet, where we literally go through and define who our ideal client is, but we do it in a way that other people can recognize. No 50-cent words, no hidden things that only experts would know. So, of course, some of you financial coaches, the classic example, I work with people who they make $150,000 plus a year, and they've got, and they generally they're drowning in debt, and, they're overwhelmed. Well, that's a great client to work with, but you tell Chris what that looks like, or you tell Dawn that that's your client. We're not going around asking people what they make and how much debt they have and how much stress they have in their marriage over money. Like, that's not a normal question for Chris or Dawn to be going and asking their friend. Yeah. So what our job is to actually come up with things that people are talking about that other people could recognize. So in Dawn's case, it's like, my doctor told me I need to be going and getting more physical movement. Okay, that's great. Your doctor didn't, you're not talking about the numbers and the blood work that the doctor did. We're talking about something that you're talking about over coffee. And that's what we want to be doing, is going through that process of making it easy for other people to recognize. And there's a whole way that we build that out. But the initial part of that, if we're trying to discover the 4 reasons why people aren't referring us and we're not getting all the referrals we deserve, that comes down to the clarity test, beginning to ask that. Is it a clarity problem? We've tested for credibility. We've passed that test. We've checked that off. Now we're testing for clarity. If you met someone who was a perfect fit for me tomorrow, today, this afternoon, whether they came into your office, whether you were having at the backyard barbecue and someone said something, they're a perfect person. They walked by you on the street, that someone who's a perfect fit for me, would you recognize that would be a good client for me? And would you know how to introduce us effectively? This is a 2-parter, because number one, we're trying to find out whether or not your circle of influence, number one, understands who your client is, and number 2, has a clear path to how to connect you. Sarah Westcott got really good in the beginning of helping people understand who my ideal client was. At the time, 18-year-old kid could recognize my ideal client, my avatar, through the triggers. My 80-year-old mother could recognize and hear triggers that said, oh my gosh, you need to meet my daughter. What Sarah was not good at, notice I love to refer to myself in third person when I'm less than perfect. What I was not good at was giving my referral partners a good way to introduce me. Are they supposed to send me a text? Are we supposed to send an email? Is it a phone call? Is it an invitation to a webinar? So what I've learned is that's the second piece of making it really easy for other people to refer us. It has to be clear who we work with, and they have to have a clear path to introduction. If you're looking for a one-on-one introduction, like an individual client, tell people what that looks like. In my world, I generally say, just all you need to say is one word, one phrase. Oh my gosh, you need to meet Sarah. She's great at that. Let me introduce you. And then send a really brief text, direct message, email. Not a fancy email. I don't need I don't need somebody else to have to write out a 3-paragraph email. I don't need them to have a ton of copy that doesn't sound like them. That's going to be a barrier to them actually introducing. Make it super simple. Oh my gosh, you need to meet Sarah. She's great at that. Here, let me introduce you. Let me connect the two of you by text. One of the best clients I ever got was just simply a DM that said, Sarah, meet Joe, Joe, meet Sarah. And we took it from there. Let us do what we're good at, which is the selling. We don't need our referral partners to try and sell us. I had more people, some of you may have this too, right? Talk out of working with us because they misdescribed what we do. I don't know, Chris, if you've ever had that situation where, you know, somebody wants to introduce you and wants to refer you, and by the time they've told them what you do, they're like, heck no, I don't want to work with that person. I don't need that. And
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how often that happens, because if it happens, I don't usually
you hear
find
about
out
it.
about it. But
Mhm.
what does happen though, which is a variation of that concept, is
Mhm.
that the person doesn't feel they need help.
Mhm.
The problem might be
Mhm.
like smacking him in the face every day, but they think that that's normal, so therefore they don't think they need help.
Yep.
And that I've had many people say, hey, look, I was talking to this guy and this is what he's got going on and yada, yada, yada. And I wanted to make the introduction, and he said he didn't want to get help with that.
So, okay, I love that, right? Because there's a couple of things there that we can work on to help better equip the referral partner without filtering, without doing any of the sales assessment ready ability, to just make the connection so that you can then do the filtering process.
Yeah.
And not have
Well, that's what I tell
the
them,
client
but
self-filter. Yeah, exactly. But telling
yeah.
them and giving them the tools to do it. And
Yeah.
I bet you it's just simply, oh my gosh, if you're feeling stressed about this, you need to talk to Chris. You know, you need to talk to Chris. You just need to meet Chris.
Right.
Right. And that's it. Like the more they try and like even informally sell you, like I don't want to expose myself to someone who, you know, who, because there's shame, there's embarrassment. I'm supposed to be the expert, whatever. Anyway, yeah. So that would be something that I would say would be a key place to help increase the referral conversion rate, not conversion into client, but conversion from I recognized to we actually got connected. The referral connection rate, I guess that would call that. Anyway. So okay, so far we've tested for credibility. We've now kind of figured out confusion. There's a whole bunch of resources that we could spend some time talking about how to help eliminate the confusion, create clarity once we've determined that clarity is the issue. But that's thing number one. So that's if that's the thing, mark that off and say that's what I need to work on. Number three is community. The third reason we may not be getting all the referrals we deserve is that we don't have the right community. And I don't necessarily mean networking groups. I mean our overall circle of influence of sweet spot opportunities. Now, my mother can refer me once in a while, but that is not going to keep food on my table and roof over my head. You know, I love when I get a referral from my 18-year-old kid or my 80-year-old mother. Those are not my bread and butter referral sources, however. And we can't get good quality, consistent. One of you, Dawn, I think it was you, talked about consistency. Maybe it was Wesley, I can't remember. Consistent referrals, unless we're actually interacting with a community of people who have opportunity to consistently refer us. So we can't get referrals from people who don't know about us, who don't know us, or who never think about us. They're not the right referral partners. So the questions for ourselves to ask in considering this, if this is the reason we're not getting all the referrals we deserve, is are we building relationships with the right people? Not formal, but intentional professional relationships with the right people. We talk about, in my world, we talk about the referral partner mafia. Who are the professions or professionals who already serve our ideal client, but in a different capacity? So the one I like to use all the time is would be the wedding services mafia, where you've got all of these professions or professionals who serve the avatar of couples getting married. And yet they do different things. The florist, the dressmaker, the tuxedo sales, the DJs and bands, wedding planners, all the things, the honeymoon specialist, whatever. Their ideal clients are all photographer, are all couples getting married, but they do different things. So if we're building consistent relationships around this referral partner mafia, our sunshine, our spoke, if you will, the likelihood is then that we're going to collectively give and receive more referrals. And that's where magic really begins to happen. When I'm intentionally building relationships with people who are already working with or have the opportunity to work with someone that I also want to work with doing different things. And it's not necessarily a competition, even when there might be some overlap. Overlap can be synergy, not competition. So that's the challenge, the internal challenge for us when we talk about building community. Are we building community with people who can be golden, goose that lays the golden eggs for us? Are we being intentional about doing that? And sometimes that can be done through joining networking groups, formal networking groups. Those of us, that come from a BNI background, that is one way that can be done. But it's not the only way. And I would honestly propose that if you are not in a group that naturally has other people who can refer you based on what they do and the clients they interact with, then that may not be the best use of time or energy, simply because that's time and energy are our bigger resource, our bigger limitations. I don't care what the group costs as much as I cost. Is it worth my Thursday morning every week from 8 to 9:30 a.m.? And if it's an in-person meeting, even more. And me losing some of my beauty sleep to get up and out of bed and be functional at that time of the day. Is it really worth my long-term energy? Or can we find other ways to build those same kinds of relationships in a more nuanced, dare I say, cherry-picked approach, where I can maybe visit some of these groups, hunting, or go to a chamber event, hunting for potential referral partners that I want to farm with. I'm not going to stalk, because again, we just met each other, and you don't know me from Adam. I'm not going to ask you to send me your best clients, but it's a process. And so the tip for building community in this particular case is knowing who I want to meet as a referral partner, and then finding ways to connect with them. Dawn, I don't know if you've ever done any networking groups, but for example, let's say, I'm going to use the example. Let's say you're going to an open networking group. Who would be someone, a professional that you might want to meet to potentially build a relationship with?
Yeah, so anybody, actually a really ideal client would be physical therapists.
Okay. Client or referral partner?
Referral partner, because the PTs, they see these people once, maybe twice a week for a limited period of time, potentially.
Yep.
They would be a great partner if their patient wants to continue to work on the breath work, on the physical movement, mobility. People who do breath work or focus on one piece of what makes up yoga. So they focus on the breath work, or they focus on meditation. Anybody who works in synergy with the body.
Okay.
So there's
cool.
there's a number of different ways. Yeah.
So that would be, so I'm going to take physical therapist because that's what I heard first, and that's concrete for Sarah's brain. So let's say you decide you're going to go to an after hours chamber event, or business building after hours something. Savannah has a lot of those. It's mostly an opportunity to socialize and drink a little bit, but it doesn't matter. I'm going with my professional hat on, and I want to go and maybe meet some physical therapists or some other people in the health services field. So that's the thing number one. I'm picking the events that I'm going to go to based on who I think the likely people in the room will be. If it's all construction based, maybe that's not the best networking group for me, but it might be for Chris.
That'd be good for me.
Exactly. because you're looking for the CEOs of these, trades organizations, companies to do business coaching with. And so each of you were going to pick different groups to go to. And the idea is Chris, your case, you're looking for potential clients there, which is fine, which is good. Dawn, in this case, we're looking for potential referral partners. They're not there to look to buy yoga, but they're looking to how can we grow our practices together. So that's where we use something called the always get a yes technique that was created by my friend and colleague, Amy Kilpatrick. So I always like to give her credit because it's not mine. I wish it was, but she wrote it first. But it is brilliant. And it is a variation of the theme that says, oh my gosh, Dawn, you just met Lisa. Lisa, it was so nice to meet you tonight. I think that you and I might share a similar kind of similar client base. That's really cool. Doing different things, of course, right? Would you be interested in getting together further so I can find out more about you and what you do and the kind of clients you work with? So that if I have somebody who'd be a good fit for what you do, I would be more comfortable referring you. Now, that's a mouthful, but think about what I just did there. Number one, I set you at ease that I am not looking to come and try and sell to you. I want to come and find out more about you and what you do and who your clients are and who you serve. So that if I have someone who'd be a good fit for you, you're building the credibility with me that I'd be more comfortable referring them over to you. Because I'm not going to just I'm not promising that I'm going to send you my mother today, but at least I'm starting the process of getting to know you. And do I like you, trust you? Do I like the philosophy that you work with your clients on, et cetera? It's like a dating app. We're in the first step of trying to find out if we're compatible here, if I can trust you. And not surprisingly, when this is, approached well, that's why it's called an always get a yes technique. Not always, but most of the time it's like, yeah, why wouldn't I want to get together with you? You want to find out more about me and maybe potentially sending me clients. I didn't promise, but potentially sending clients. Of course, I'd like to get together. Now, if they're going to be any good, eventually there will be reciprocation. Is that a word? Reciprocity.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you. Where they will also want to find out more about you, Dawn. Like, and if it only goes one direction, that's going to get to number 4 here in this last moment or two, which is don't waste your time and energy on someone who's not going to reciprocate. But at least in the beginning here, let's test out that water. I want to find out more about you and your stuff so that start the process. And that becomes the foundation of continuing to build ongoing one-to-ones. The first meeting went well, then we're going to talk about maybe doing another one and another one. And if it feels like it's a good match and we feel like we've got good synergy together, then maybe we're going to try and do things a little bit more consistently and meet more consistently. My rule of thumb is if I'm in a networking group, I'm going to meet with everybody in the group maybe once or twice a year, because you never know who people know, and just building some goodwill. Even my mother can send me a referral once in a while. But for someone who actually has some good synergy, potential synergy, I should be doing it maybe quarterly, maybe monthly, maybe even more frequently than that. If we are actively in a place where we both know, trust each other enough to do joint activity together, to refer one another to clients, to do marketing activities, to get clients together, et cetera. But it starts here. And again, that goes to energy number 4 here at our last little, I'm doing okay, right? Yeah, yes, I am. Okay, good. Energy. Not every relationship deserves our energy. I've talked about this with a couple of you individually over the years. We are nice people. We want to believe that, yes, they should be able to refer us. They like us, we like them. And yet consistently, the referral relationship isn't going anywhere. And so the challenge with that, as I told you earlier, I had one client years ago, friend, colleague, client years ago, who just always assumed it was the other person. They're just schmucks. They're just lousy networkers. And before we write them off, we want to go back and confirm, is it a credibility issue? Is there some reason that's standing in the way? Is it an education, a confusion issue? Would I refer them if I really knew how? I just don't know how. And she's assuming that she's told us and that we should be doing it. Let's clarify that. Let's confirm that. And do they have the opportunity? Sarah, I would love to refer you, but I just don't interact with other business owners who need to grow their business by referral. Okay, great. That sometimes that's legit. And let's check that out. But sometimes it's an education issue. Great. But this is where it all comes together, which is not sometimes they are legitimately just schmucks. That's the technical, official, professional term. They just don't have good giver's gain juju energy. And so the question for us here is, are we investing in people who value relationships? Is the relationship that we have really creating a win-win-win opportunity? A win for me because I get a client, a win for the client because they get well served, and a win for the referral partner who's getting the positive credibility from both the client that got referred and from the referral partner who's grateful for the referral. It should be a trifecta of win. I earned some money because I got the referral, the client got well served, and the referral partner who served built their credibility. More likely for me to refer back, more likely for the person who referred them to refer to them back again. If they're already a client, they'll spend more money here. It builds goodwill all around. And if that's not happening, move on. And we got the, so the thing here is what are the relationships of the groups that are draining your energy? If we're not getting out of them, and we've done the checks before, let it go, let it go, let it go. And that's all. Those questions. Anything else that for you particularly that you're still struggling with? I mean, obviously, I did still talk a lot because Sarah can't seem to help it. That's still challenging you in your particular journey right now that didn't seem to fall in all of those. And I'll tell you about membership here in the last moment.
So for me, I think I've gotten away from this because I know, we've talked before and I've been through your workshops here. I've fallen away from it. I haven't been nurturing the referral partners I have. And I'm thinking maybe they weren't even the best referral partners at this point because my insurance guy is like my best one, but the other ones, I don't hear from them, even when I refer people to them.
Okay. Yep.
So right. I feel like I need to start over and get the right quality, the right type of referral partners.
That's an interesting insight. Yep. So going back perhaps and deciding, are they really not good referral partners, or do I need to be investing in nurturing them in a different way or better way equipping them, nurturing or equipping them. Or if they're not even saying thank you when you send them referrals, then that's probably a flag here that they're probably not the right referral partner. So thinking about that. So, and I love that, Phyllis, because that does kind of come on in here. The biggest thing is don't, you can, but why would we want to? Don't build your referral strategy alone. So I run a monthly business building by referral membership that is now open. I'd be glad to answer lots of questions about it. It is $39 a month. The thing that I like most about it is we've got different activities each week, group coaching type activities. The thing I'm really most excited about right now is the monthly strategy sprint, where we start the month looking at the VCP framework. What is going on in your business right now? And assessing exactly, Phyllis, kind of what we started to look at here. Do we need to be nurturing the referral partners that you have, equipping them, building goodwill and credibility and trust? Do we need to be equipping them, or do we need to be focusing on getting some new eyeballs in front of you, both as clients and as referral partners? And so we have a framework that's called the VCP framework, which is visibility, credibility, and profitability. And within each of those, we're going to pick one subcategory. This month, am I going to be working on clarifying my visibility? Clearly identifying who my ideal clients are so that I can tell other people. Expanding my visibility to new eyeballs, nurturing my visibility with my existing circle of influence. Or am I working on building trust or demonstrating my expertise or equipping the partners? Or then is it really profitability? Some of us have been doing this a while, and if we're not getting all the referrals we deserve, it's because we are not actually asking for referrals. We're not actually building the relationships in ways that we need to. And so we may want to spend this next month working on equipping our opportunities, or activating our partners, doing more one-to-ones with our referral partners, or building marketing alliances, things like that. So depending on where you're at in your business this month, you'll pick a pillar or a lever to work on for the month. And then set some commitments around this is, I'm going to reach out to 10 people, or I'm going to reactivate this referral partner that I haven't talked to for a while and just start warming that up again. Oopsie, I lost. There we are. And then we've got some, live coaching and implementation sessions and some tools and templates and stuff. I am also going to be running the live group coaching business building by referral masterclass starting again in July, inside the membership. So should you want to go through a weekly kind of guided process, nuts to bolts, I would love to have you join for that. And that is all a $39 a month membership commitment that you can end at any time. Any other questions, by all means, reach out. You'll get some more emails, follow up from me. But there's my website, there's my email. And with that, we are right there at the top of the hour. I am glad to hang out and answer any other questions for you, but I do want to respect your time. Thank you so much for coming today. It's been awesome. And
Hey, Sarah, this was good.
awesome.
Thanks,
I do
Sarah.
have to run, but hopefully I'll see you around.
Yes, I hope so
Thanks,
too.
everybody.
And by all means, if you've got questions, want to find out more about membership, please, get in touch with me or hang out. I'll glad to hang out a little longer.
Okay,
All right.
thanks. See you, Wes.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.